At this level, we should know that there are negative value integers and positive value integers. Now we are interested in finding the absolute value of a number. So let's start with a numerical example so that we can understand what's the meaning of the absolute value. So let us assume that we have a number. This number equals to -3. I want to get the absolute value of this number. So the way we mathematically express the absolute value is to replace the -3 between these two lines shown here. So this statement reads as the absolute value of -3. To get the absolute value of a negative number, basically we invert its sign and that becomes equal to 3. Also, to get the absolute value of a positive number, for example, the absolute value of +3, that is basically equals to 3. So to get the absolute value of a number, we look at the number. If the number is negative, we invert its sign and that becomes a positive number. If the number is positive, then its absolute value is the same number. To have an understanding what's the meaning of the absolute value, let us use the concept of the absolute value using the numbers line. So let us draw the numbers line. Here is the line, and we will start to label the numbers. So we will start with number 0, and then we will have numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the negative side we will have -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. So this line is the numbers line, which contains all the numbers that we know. So let us mark number 3 and -3. Here is number 3 and here is number -3. And number 3 is 3 units away from 0. So number 3 is 3 units away from 0. Or we can say that the distance from 0 is 3. The same story applies to number -3. And number -3 is 3 units away from 0. As you can see, the distance from number -3 to 0 is also 3 units. Here is unit number 1, here is unit number 2, here is unit number 3, and the distance from -3 to 0 is 3, and also the distance from 3 to 0 is 3. So we can state that the absolute value of a number is the distance from 0 to that number on the numbers line. That's why the absolute value of -3 equals 3, and the absolute value of number 3 is also 3, because the distance of number -3 to 0 is 3. That is the same as the distance from 0 to 3, which is also 3. What we are interested in is we want to know how to evaluate the absolute value of a number very quick. The trick is you look at the number. If the number is negative, you make it positive. If the number is positive, it is the same value. So let's show you examples here. What's the absolute value of -4? This is a negative number. The absolute value of it will equal to 4. What's the absolute value of number 12? This is a positive number, so it will be 12. What's the absolute value of -5? It is 5. We can also use absolute values to non-integer numbers, like decimal numbers, for example. So we can say the absolute value of 1.35 that is 1.35. It is a positive number, so you keep the same number to be the absolute value. The absolute value of negative 3.5, this is a negative number, invert its sign, so it will be 3.5. And also we can say that what's the absolute value of 2.1? That will be 2.1 because the 2.1 is a positive number. In summary, the absolute value tells us the distance, or basically it tells us the magnitude of that number, the strength of that number, the distance of that number from zero. And it doesn't only apply to integers, it can be applied to any kind of numbers such as decimal numbers and fraction numbers and other type of numbers that we will learn later on in the semester and in future courses.